This is the story of a gangster who suddenly ends up inside the body of a high school student. He faces school bullies and uncovers a truth he never knew, which completely changes his life. Friends, this Korean drama is packed with fun, action, and comedy. Make sure to watch this video until the end. You will definitely enjoy it. The story begins with a gangster boss named Jang, who was living a luxurious life. He had everything except genuine love from his wife. His wife, Sian, did not love Jang at all. However, Jang did not care, because he married Sian only because she was the daughter of the chairman of Hanho Company. One day, Jang learns that a carpenter's shop is standing in the middle of his new construction project. The carpenter is refusing to move. After hearing this, Jang calls his most loyal man, Manchul. He orders Manchul to take some men and remove the shop by force. Meanwhile, the carpenter, Jang, becomes nervous when Manchul arrives with several men. At first, they treat Jang politely. Then Manchul coldly declares that if Jang does not sign within 3 counts, they will cut off his hand and force his thumbprint. Terrified, Jang signs the papers. Later that night, while Jang is eating dinner, another man named Yang arrives. Yang insults him, trying to show his dominance. After being insulted, Jang remains silent, and Yang eventually leaves. Sometime later, Jang's company successfully acquires a new building. To celebrate, Yang goes to a small restaurant to eat ramen. However, he is not really there for the food. He has come to see someone from his past. A high school student named Dong is sitting nearby. Jang asks the restaurant owner about a woman who used to run the place 10 years ago. The owner replies that the woman has probably passed away. Hearing this, Yang tastes the ramen, but does not enjoy it. He prepares to pay and leave. At that moment, Dong receives a phone call and hurriedly gets up. He tells the woman that he has lost his wallet. Jang wakes up in a hospital. A nurse approaches and asks if he is awake, calling him son. Jang is confused and wonders why she is calling him that. The nurse leaves to call the doctor. Jang gets up and walks outside. Another man also calls him son. Jang becomes irritated and thinks everyone has gone crazy for calling a 40-year-old man a kid. Suddenly, he freezes in shock. He sees his own body lying on a hospital bed in a coma. Just then, the carpenter Jang arrives. Jang looks at him and calls him his son. Jang realizes that his soul has entered the body of the same high school boy who fell on him. This revelation leaves him completely shocked. The doctor assumes that Dong suffered a head injury from the fall, which explains his strange behavior. At that moment, the carpenter Jang says that his son's way of speaking has completely changed. He asks Dong if he recognizes his own father. Jang angrily responds, telling the old man to stay away and insisting that he is not his son. The doctor explains that the boy's brain may have been affected and says it should heal naturally with time. Jang suddenly remembers that he is now inside the body of the same boy he met at the restaurant. He also realizes that the woman at the restaurant must have been responsible for switching their souls. Jang rushes back to the restaurant immediately. However, the restaurant is no longer there. He argues with a nearby woman who claims the restaurant moved years ago. Jang insists that he ate ramen there just the day before. The woman thinks he is mentally unstable and dismisses him. Meanwhile, Jang is thrilled after hearing that Jang's original body is lying in a coma. At the same time, Jang arrives at his own house and sees his wife crying. At first, he assumes she is heartbroken because of his condition. In reality, she is crying because her necklace has broken. When she sees Jang, she becomes terrified. Jang tells her that he is her husband and that he is Jang. The police accept the explanation and take them away. Later, Jang goes back to the hospital and repeatedly throws himself onto his unconscious body. He desperately tries to return to his original form. At that moment, his loyal man Manchul arrives at the room. Manchul initially thinks he has entered the wrong room and starts to leave. Suddenly, he realizes this is his boss's hospital room. He rushes back inside and angrily asks what Jang is doing there. Manchul recognizes him as the same overweight boy who caused his boss to fall into a coma. Just then, the doctor arrives, and Jang quickly leaves. After that, Jang returns home with carpenter Jang. Jiang prepares a large meal for his son. Seeing the amount of food, Jiang says he cannot possibly eat it all. However, after taking just a few bites, something strange happens. When he comes back to his senses, every dish is completely finished. Jiang smiles and tells his son to rest. He says they will go to school the next day and talk about everything there. Jiang then heads to Dong's room. The next morning, they both go to school together. Jiang sits confidently in class, acting like a boss without holding back his attitude. Meanwhile, Jiang speaks with the principal. News has already spread throughout the school that Dong cannot remember anything from the day he fell. Carpenter Jiang tells the principal that his son could not have jumped off the building by himself. He insists that other students must have done something to him. The principal denies the accusation. From his reaction, Jiang realizes that the principal is hiding the truth and then heads toward Dong's classroom. In class, the teacher explains that Dong has not fully recovered from his accident. She asks the students to help him with everything. However, as soon as Dong enters the classroom, some boys mock him by showing their middle fingers. Later, in the cafeteria, a group of girls begins bullying a student named Yunan. One of them pours a drink into Yunan's food and orders her to eat it. Yunan does not resist and quietly starts eating. The girls then throw all of her food on her. Seeing this, Jiang tells them to leave her alone and let him eat his lunch peacefully. He asks why they keep bothering people for no reason. At that moment, a boy named Taewook steps forward and insults him. Taewook is about to hit Jiang, but a teacher arrives and stops the fight. After lunch, the same boys surround Jiang again. Taewook says that even if Dong does not remember anything, he still has to bring them burgers every day. He threatens to beat him if refuses. Instead of backing down, Jiang slaps Taewook. Jiang hits him again, and by the third strike, Taewook starts to panic. Jiang asks whether Dong had ever done anything to deserve this bullying. He asks if Dong was targeted for a reason or simply because he was easy to pick on. Taewook admits that Dong was bullied only because he seemed weak and vulnerable. Hearing this, Jiang slaps him again. He then beats Taewook's friends as well before walking away. At that moment, Jiang notices another student named Kim Jae. Out of fear, Kim Jae had been bringing food to the bullies. Now that they have been beaten, the bullies drag Kim Jae into the bathroom. They start beating him and threaten him with more violence. They warn him not to tell anyone about what is happening. They even plan to humiliate him by recording a video to use for blackmail. Suddenly, Jiang appears from behind and knocks all of them to the ground. He takes Taewook's phone and discovers multiple photos showing Dong being bullied. Jiang slaps Taewook once more and tells him he will return the phone later. Back at home, Jiang checks the phone carefully. He finds a video showing how Dong was bullied on the day of the accident. In the video, the bullies hang Yunan on an antenna. They force Dong to walk along a wall to rescue her. While trying to help her, Dong loses his balance and falls. That fall is what caused him to land on Jiang. Jiang finally understands everything that happened to Dong. Meanwhile, Taewook's gang leader starts beating him and his friends. He is furious because Taewook failed to delete the video from his phone. At that moment, Yang arrives and confronts the leader. Jiang warns him that he has already made a copy of the video. He tells him to stay away unless he wants serious trouble. After saying this, Jiang leaves with Kim Jae. Elsewhere, Jiang's wife is taking advantage of her husband's coma. Just then, Yang appears in front of her. Yang threatens them by saying that he has taken photos of the two of them together. He warns that he will send those photos to Chairman Han. Jiang's wife calmly tells him to stop talking and get straight to the point. She asks him what he really wants. Meanwhile, Yang returns to his original body in the hospital. His loyal man, Manchul, is sitting beside him. Manchul looks at him and angrily tells the overweight boy to stop coming near his boss. Hearing this, Yang calmly cracks walnuts and begins explaining the truth. He tells Manchul that he is actually his boss. To prove it, he reveals several personal details that only Jiang could know. This finally convinces Manchul that the man in front of him is truly his boss. After satisfying his hunger, Jiang asks Manchul why he was guarding his body. Manchul explains that there is a rumor that Yang wants Jiang killed in the hospital. That is why he stayed there to protect him. The next day at school, Yang accidentally bumps into a girl walking quickly. She drops her teddy bear on the ground. Jang picks it up and runs after her to return it. The girl turns out to be Yunin. She looks at him and asks if he has really lost his memory. She says he does not even recognize her anymore. Just then, Yunan's mother arrives. Jang is shocked when he sees her. She is actually Misin, Jang's first love. Misin happily greets him and says that he has grown so much. Jang instinctively asks her what she is doing there. Misin scolds him for calling her by name. She says he has no manners and starts hitting him playfully. She then chases him away. Jang begins thinking about his past with Misin. He wonders if Misin is Yunan's mother, then who her father might be. To confirm his suspicion, he secretly takes a strand of Yunan's hair at school. The DNA test confirms that Yunan is his daughter. She is the same girl who has been bullied at school. This discovery fills Yang with rage. The next day, the same girls start harassing Yunan again. They accuse her of stealing their lipstick. They force her to check her bag. Seeing this, Jang steps in and claims that he stole the lipstick. He says he wanted it but did not like it, so he threw it away. In this way, he protects Yunan. However, when he sees his daughter crying, his anger grows even stronger. He shows Manchel a photo of the girls and asks him to teach them a harsh lesson. He even orders him to break their bones. Manchel refuses and reminds him that they are just high schoolgirls. He says they are too young and that violence is not the solution. He suggests that Yunan should face this issue at school herself. Realizing this, Jang goes to confront Misin. Misin has no idea that the boy carries the soul of her first love. She believes he is just Dong. Jang tells her everything, including how the teachers are ignoring the bullying. Misin becomes deeply worried and feels helpless. She blames Jang, saying he has no idea what she and their daughter are suffering through. Hearing himself being criticized, Jang promises her that he will handle everything at school. Meanwhile, Jang's wife has joined hands with Yang. She tells her father, Chairman Han, that Jang has committed a massive financial scam. She also presents several documents as evidence. Jang decides that he must protect his daughter and help this boy regain his strength. He begins training seriously at the gym. Misin also sends Yunan there. Yunan refuses at first and says she does not want to practice fighting. She tries to leave, but Manchel's new trainer stops her. The trainer begins teaching both of them. Within a few days, Yunan becomes a skilled fighter. At the same time, Jang loses weight and gets back into shape. When he returns to school, everyone is stunned by his transformation. The girls are amazed and even the boys cannot stop staring at him. After school, he goes home with Yunan. There, he finds many photos of his daughter. He picks up one childhood photo and saves it on his phone. Meanwhile, after a long day of work, Carpenter Jang collects his wages and heads home. On the way, several men suddenly ambush him. Yan had borrowed money from them 2 years earlier. Now they return to beat him and demand repayment. At that moment, Jang arrives. He steps in and starts fighting them. However, his guards take over and endure the beating. Instead, the gang leader then issues a threat. He gives Yang 1 week to bring 80 million won. After delivering the warning, they leave. Jang notices that Carpenter Yang has fainted. Later, Manchel goes alone to the gang's hideout. He defeats all of them and breaks their bones. Manchel reminds them that Yang borrowed only 5 million won 2 years ago. He warns them to reduce the debt or face serious consequences. Terrified, the gang leader agrees. Meanwhile, Jang prepares a meal for Carpenter Jang. She asks Jang if he plans to date that girl. Yang denies it once more. Yunan then asks him to be her boyfriend. Jang firmly refuses and walks away. Later, Yunan tells her mother that she wants Dong to be her boyfriend. Misin is shocked and furious. She knows that Dong is actually carrying Jang's soul. She orders Yunan to stay away from him. The next day at school, Misin confronts Jang. She asks what he has done to make Yunan want him as her boyfriend. Jang explains that he only wanted to be friendly. Misin tells him to leave their lives forever. She says they can never be together again because he is already married. At that moment, Yunnan arrives and asks who is married. Without thinking, Jang blurts out that he likes her mother. Yunnan is shocked. She feels betrayed and believes her mother has taken away her love. In tears and anger, Yunnan runs away. Misin turns on Jang and angrily demands to know why he said that. Meanwhile, Yang kills the guards and approaches Jang's real body in the hospital. He has come to kill him. Suddenly, Jang wakes up and speaks. He casually points out that Yang's zipper is open. Shocked to see him alive, Yang faints on the spot. Elsewhere, the high school boy's spirit arrives at Dong's house. He starts calling Carpenter Jang his father. It is revealed that Dong's soul has entered Jang's body. Seeing a grown man calling him father, Dong becomes terrified and starts crying. Just then, Jang arrives and realizes that the boy's soul has taken over his body. Dong finally understands everything and is overwhelmed with fear. Jang slaps him lightly to calm him down. Blames the entire situation to Carpenter Jang. At first, Jang refuses to believe it. After hearing everything carefully, he realizes they are telling the truth. Jang then speaks to Dong. He asks if Dong likes Yunnan. Following Jang's instructions, Dong begins apologizing to Misin. Suddenly, Yang arrives with his men. Seeing them, Dong panics and breaks down in fear. Misin immediately understands the situation. Jang quickly sends both Dong and Misin to the kitchen. He instructs Dong to keep Misin inside and safe. Jang then confronts the thugs outside. Yang assumes they are just high school boys and underestimates them. Dong leaves happily, satisfied that everything is finally resolved. Seeing the real Yang outside, Dong feels overjoyed that everything has been handled. But at that moment, Jang's wife becomes enraged and tries to strike him. Jang pushes Dong in front of a car, severely injuring himself. He is immediately rushed to the hospital. Misin and Yunnan arrive at the scene. Seeing Jang's real body, Yunnan asks, "Mom, this is my dad, isn't it? Why did you hide his photo from me? I saw it anyway." The real Jang, who is in Dong's body, replies, "Yes, I am your dad." Yunnan becomes confused and worried, wondering what is really happening. She questions herself, asking, "Did my mother really marry my friend?" While they are talking, the real Jang faints. At the same time, Dong, in Jang's body, also faints. A short time later, Yang regains consciousness in the operating room. The owner of the same restaurant stands before him. Jang realizes that she was involved in the soul switch. The woman instructs Jang to rest and sleep. The story then fast forwards 6 months. Dong has returned to his original body. He is discharged from the hospital and returns to school. All the students praise him because the police had left the school out of fear of Dong. Dong and Yunnan become the new heroes of the school. Meanwhile, the gangster Yang is captured by the police. The real Jang, now back in his own body, gives up his gangster life. He begins living peacefully with Misin. Carpenter Jang and Manchul also start working alongside them. Jang spends quality time with his daughter Yunnan. The movie ends on this happy note. Friends, let us know in the comments how you like the movie. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and hype it up. If you are new to our channel, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.